Hello. I'm going to give you 5 tips and tricks I've learned from my hiking and bushcraft experience, so stay tuned. So I do bushcraft, that is going into the forest and doing bushcrafty things like making shelters and learning about plants and all that stuff. And my mentor, my YouTube mentor, I never had the privilege of meeting him or studying with him, but I've seen all his videos. Morse Kohansky, the godfather of bushcraft from Canada, who has a very nice bushcraft book called Bushcraft. I'll put the link in the description for it. You can buy it if you're interested. But in one of his videos, he mentioned that he read in some book on heating, cooling, that if you paint a pot black, or a black pot, I should say, will heat water twice as fast as a non-black pot, like a silver pot, for example. So I put that to the test. So I have 2 Stanley 2-cup pots. This is the classic Stanley, beloved by all bushcrafters. So I got one that I painted black and one that I didn't. And I painted it with ceramic. Hang on, let me get the bottle. Okay, so I painted this pot with a high heat ceramic coating, up to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. And this one I didn't. Then in a controlled environment, my basement, I heated water 3 times, 16 ounces of water, 3 times in this one and 3 times in this one, and measured the time it took to heat. And in all 3 times, it took 15 seconds faster to heat it in this than in this. Percentage-wise, it was 10% faster. So it definitely does work. It's not half as fast, but it is faster, and 10% is significant. So if you're hiking over a number of days and you're using a canister stove, for example, and something like this or something like this, this is my Walmart $5 cup, which I also painted with the ceramic coating. So you're going to save 10% every time you heat something. And over a number of days, that can extend the life of your fuel canister. So I'll put here's a chart of the results of the heating. As you can see, this one that's painted black was faster by 10% consistently. Now, here's my kettle, also Walmart special. This one I use on a fire directly or over a fire. And this one I just don't bother to clean. I just leave it black so it'll heat faster. So that's one trick to extend your fuel life when you're heating something. And by the way, this is not only for canister stove. If you're using alcohol stoves or any other kind of stove, it'll just work faster. And so you use less fuel / energy / gas. So what I would do is buy one of these. This is Rust-Oleum high heat ceramic coating, and just paint your pot black to improve the efficiency of your stove. Okay, this tip is for the Stanley pot. If you have one of these pots, the new one or the old version or the new version that just came out, you can hang it over a fire by this little trick. First, in the old one, replace the plastic tap with the ring. This is for 2 reasons. One, this won't melt if you put this on the fire. And using the ring, you can also hang the pot. So what I'll do is, I'll put the lid on, like this. And with the ring, I would hang the pot using a branch or something else. Hang it over the fire. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to put a bail on your Stanley pot. I got this tip from Waypoint Survival. He's got a whole series on customizing your Stanley pots. So that's one way to do it. You need a few parts and it takes like 5 minutes to do this. I'll link to his video in the description. You can see how to hang your Stanley pot. But this is one way to do it. The easiest way to do it is just put a ring, replace the tab with the ring and hang it from the ring. Now, the one thing about this method is that you have to have the lid on. And sometimes when you're hanging over the fire, you may not want the lid on. So in that case, you want to go with a bail method. So you don't have to have the lid on to hang the pot. And now the reason why you would want to hang a pot is because for simmering, if you put the pot directly on the fire, you're at one temperature. But if you're hanging the pot over the fire, you can raise and lower it to control the temperature so you can simmer food. So hanging is important. You can save a lot of money on gas for your stove by refilling your canisters with butane. Now, your isobutane, I should say, canister, the 3.9 ounce one cost about $6. The 8 ounce one cost about $6 to $7, or $7, I should say. Prices will vary, but you're starting at about $6 to $7 or $7.50 for this one, while your 8 ounce can of butane cost around $2.50. So that's at least 50% saving for gas. The way to refill this is to buy an adapter. So I got one. There's plenty of these on the market. I'll put the link in the description. But what you do is, here's an adapter that goes on the butane bottle, and there's another one that screws on, right? Like this. Let me put it on. And then it goes on here, like this. And so you'll just refill your canister with butane, which is 50% cheaper. Now with this adapter, that only works for butane. Let me take this off. You can also use it to refill isobutane canisters with other isobutane canisters. So if you're not sure how much is left in this one, there's not much left in this. This one is pretty full. So and I'm not sure how much fuel there is, and I want to take it out on the trail, I'll just refill it into this other one, and when this is empty, I'll just keep it to the side and refill it with this. So this is going to save you a lot of money. Buy the adapter, and then buy cheaper butane, 50% cheaper, to refill your isobutane canisters. If you're using an alcohol stove when you're hiking and camping, then you need something to carry the fuel in. Now, you can use anything to carry the fuel, like a cheap plastic bottle, like a water bottle. Or you can buy something very expensive, like the Trangia alcohol fuel bottle, which costs, let's see, $24.20 for the 1 liter version, $20.50 for the half-liter version, and $19.50 for the 0.3 liter version. Now, that's a lot of money just for carrying fuel. Like I said, you can use anything. You can use a cheap water bottle. But you can spend just a little more, get something a bit more functional for carrying your alcohol fuel. And what is it? Well, it's this. And these are hair dye bottles. This is what hair salons use to hold hair dye. Now, the neat thing about this is, one, they have graduated markings in ounces and milliliters. This one bottle holds 16.9 ounces of liquid. Plus, it has a narrow spout, so you can carefully, in a controlled way, pour the alcohol fuel, and you'll know how much you've poured. So you can exactly measure how much you're pouring. And the best thing about these is, you can get these 2 for $10. So you're getting basically 1 liter capacity of carriage for $10 as opposed to $25 for the Trangia. And these are very sturdy, they're plastic, they're cheap, and they work. So don't spend mucho dinero on that fancy stuff. This is just as good and much cheaper. I like to go out in the forest, chop up some wood, build a fire, and grill food over it. And one thing I found a neat trick is to have like a universal grill stand where I could put my grill anywhere. Now usually you can find rocks to do this, but there's a more elegant solution, and that is steel skewers. Go to Walmart, pick yourself up these 4 skewers. They're only $4. They're 15 inches long, and then you can stake these to the ground and put your grill over it. And the beauty about this is it could work for any size grill. So let me show you. Now you see here I got a smaller grill on there, and I can adjust the height. These are 15 inches long. Now let me put a slightly bigger grill on there. Here's the bigger grill, and you can see the firewood is underneath. I'm not going to light it, but this works very nice. You can adjust the height, and it's dirt cheap, only $4. So go to your Walmart, buy the skewers, and go out in the woods and have some fun.